you don't really see the identity of the country. That's one thing I really appreciate and love about Belarus, is that it's kind of uh, it still has that authenticity. I think almost wherever you go, whether you be in the city or out in Borisov, or in the villages and everything like that, you see the how things were, and just how people live, right, and not. Especially back home, I was just back in Texas this past just a few weeks ago, and I was just so. I mean, yeah, they were building up the city for all these opportunities. We just had the Super Bowl there, so I mean, they were building up the city and everything, but it was just they're. It's a term we say, you pay paradise to put up a parking lot. Mm-hmm. They were knocking down all these beautiful buildings and homes, or paving down all these beautiful fields and stuff, and building up condos and all these shopping centers and all this stuff like that. And it's really irritating, and then you have so many other cultures, because Houston's like a melting pot. There's so many. There's so many people that come from all over the world, all over the country to Houston, that it's hard sometimes to see what's really Houston, and so you kind of lose sight of that, and so in that same kind of sense, when I was just in Kiev last year, and Kiev is a perfect example of there's a lot of opportunity for development and capitalism. But you see a lot of people taking advantage of. I mean, there's so many businesses there. There's so many things. Western is so Western there. It's Westernized there. Yeah, there's great food and there's great things that I miss from the States. But on the other side, it's just like, what is really Kiev? What is Ukraine? So I'd hate to see that happen with Belarus. I think again, I want more people. I'd like for more people to see Belarus, to experience this. It's a different pace of life. It's a different. The people are great. The food's great. The culture is amazing. And as an American, I feel ashamed to say that I never even heard about Belarus had I not been married to a Belarusian. So. And that's the thing. Even I know some Europeans, like I asked them about Belarus or if they've been there, and they're like, I didn't even know that exists, or I thought it was part of Russia. Mm-hmm. So Belarus, and again, there's a different identity from Russian and Belarusian. So I think that it would be great to help identify that, help that stand out. And so, and I think, I love, again, the culture is so rich. I love the Belarusian language. I love the Belarusian style, everything. It's amazing. And I think more people should see that. But I think that also, there should just be, bear in mind, like for instance, in Texas, there are certain areas, like in downtown areas, we call the historical district, where there's restrictions on overdeveloping. Mm-hmm. You can't build a shopping center in this area, or you can't do this, so, and that's what keeps the core of our identity in Houston, from our history and things like that intact. So if there are certain, things to say, hey, we'll allow for development in these areas, but leave these areas alone, because it's just anything in excess is bad. Mm-hmm. Anything in excess is bad. I think that was what else can I?
And actually, we during many years we wanted to be like Western country, like mm-hmm. the part of Europe and mm-hmm. everything like this, especially the young people, mm-hmm. Because Belarus geographically is in the center of Europe. We mm-hmm. think it is, mm-hmm. and so we tried to be similar with these countries, like at least Lithuania and all the rest. Mm-hmm. And so from what you've told, it's. It's looking like that the tourist is more interested in our local life, in our traditions and everything like this. So, how to combine all these things? Actually, it's quite difficult because you need to have trade center in the capital.
Yeah.
So, where is the balance?
I mean, I think, and that's something I think that, because I'm still, I've been here for 9 months, so I've had a chance to, learn a lot about Belarus, but I'm still kind of getting used to certain things. I mean, as far as knowing the area, I think that, again, just I think there maybe even just be like what they would call like maybe like a ministry for preservation in a sense, like an like a part of the government that where people they meet about like, hey, we've just gotten a proposal to build in this area, build this type of store or something like that, with that. Like probably I'd like to identify all the key areas that are very important in Belarus and identify the areas that are sacred in a sense, holy ground, and so kind of just play on that and find balance in as far as just, I mean, it's hard. I mean, unfortunately, globalization, westernization is inevitable, but I think that if you're wise and you have the right people that are purists and not about the money, the gain, I think that would help. Those people would help. I know for myself, I guess maybe speaking from American standpoint and more locally from a Houstonian standpoint, we allow for a lot of people in. We allow for a lot of opportunity for people to buy homes and open businesses and so on and so forth. But I think, well, from a business standpoint, it could be something where they're just, once you see like, hey, we have Kentucky Fried Chicken, which I don't like, but Kentucky Fried Chicken and Burger King, McDonald's, and 20 other fast food restaurants would open up here too. I wouldn't allow that. I wouldn't do that. I mean, it's just no. I mean, like allow for the authentic. Like the more people you let in, the more authentic Belarus should come out. So it's like where people they when they're coming into Belarus, they become Belarusian in a sense. They're overtaken by the language. They're overtaken by the tapestry and the patterns and the music and just the identity. They want to become. It's like when I went to Australia. Within about a few days, I had an Australian accent because it was just so in the air.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome. I was just like, oh my, like but it just felt like this is where I should have this, and so just I think it's there. It's a hard one. It's a hard one, but I think having people get together and just talk about this, young and old. And especially the youth that appreciate the uniqueness about Belarus and who don't want to be overtaken by the West. I mean, because there's good and bad. I think that would be good. I think it was just like to have people, a group, to just get together and just kind of talk about this and make decisions towards preserving the authenticity of Belarus. Does that help? Yeah. Okay, cool. I talk a lot, so.
It's really a great pleasure to talk to a person who like Belarus. You can't often meet tourists who like Belarus here. And you're here for 9 months already, right? What have you seen? What did leave the greatest impression on you?
Well, yeah, I think the greatest impression has been just what should I say? Hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of weird. Like I lived in California. I'm from Texas, so we're in the South. Like we smile at everyone. Whenever we see somebody on the street, we just like we kind of if we just make eye contact, it's like howdy. Like it's just this thing we do. And in California, when I was living there, you know, you look at somebody and they immediately look away from you, and it's just like come on, like wow, I feel so bad, you know. And so while and they may even talk to you as if like, oh yeah, friendly, but it's kind of fake. The thing I love about Belarus is that people are so genuine. I've met so many people here that they, you know, while they may walk on the street with the face on at times, when you get to know them and talk to them, they're very genuine. They're very welcoming and very sociable. I always, I even kind of correlate the cultures to like Latin America and African American even cultures and stuff, because it's so family, it's so about, you know, social, being social and part, you know, having a good time and everything like that, you know. So I think the people, and then also what I really love is just the landscape. I remember when I first got here. And it was in, I think, May, and it was so green. It was so green. I was amazed by how green it was on the coming from the airport. It was so like just so fertile, so fertile. And then I went to my father-in-law's dacha, and it just blew me away. Like we don't have that experience here. I think I've even heard people, you know, they'll come from Russia or other places just to experience like the dacha and banya experience in Belarus, because it's like wow, you know. And it's so organic. It's so just like in other places, people try to create that, you know, they try to recreate that, you know, kind of copy. But this is just it's just natural. You know, I could go. We go out to this summer. We went out to my father-in-law's dacha, and you know, in the back, right behind his dacha, we picked berries and glubi, and it was just amazing. It was just so cool. Like I never had that experience in the States, so it's just yeah. I think that would be cool. Like I think that's something that stands out, I guess. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's quite interesting because usually when Belarusian people like me, we went to the USA, the first impression was, oh, everybody is so friendly.
Yeah.
And you told the same about Belarus. That's funny because at the stage where I was, everybody looked at the person on the street and just hello.
What city? What state were you?
New Jersey. New Jersey. It was Cape May. It's
small town.
Small.
That's why.
Small, yeah.
That's why. Yeah. That's why. Usually, I mean, it's the same thing as here. Like you know, I think one of my friends, we were talking about Belarus is kind of. I mean, Minsk is kind of. It's funny. It's like a village. It's like a bigger village. Mm-hmm. It's like a big village. You know, it's like a village inside of a village. Mm-hmm. You know, so you don't really have that. You have like the small town feel, even within like I guess the big city. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you go to the big city, you know, people are just more and just not as hospitable and whatnot. I mean, there may be some, but it's hard to find those. So it's just I mean. It's hit or miss, but here I have like really good friends that I've met here, and you know, they're just so quality, and I mean, in just a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. And the main question actually is, why did you come here? Just because it is unknown country?
Oh, like I said, my wife is Belarusian, so she, you know, me speaking Russian is very important to her, and you know, she. You know, we always talked about after we got married that if I had an opportunity to come to Belarus and study Russian for a year, I would. And you know, thankfully, an opportunity came last year, and so that's why I'm here. Sure. Yeah, so just to learn about, you know, learn the language and learn about her culture and her identity and just, but also I've always wanted to. The main reason why I went into the military was I wanted to travel the world and live overseas, but unfortunately I never had the opportunity. I traveled the world, but I never had the opportunity to actually live overseas long term, and so it's kind of like, you know, also met one of my desires, and you know, honestly I don't really want to go back yet, you know, so But yeah, so that's the main reason why.
Did you try to learn Belarusian?
Чуть-чуть. Я знаю только до попечения, и пришпилно, и привитание, и дуже дякую.
That's quite enough.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful language. From what I've heard, it's a beautiful language. I mean, I kind of prefer. I was really learning that more than Russian right now. You know, I think it'd probably be a little bit easier. So,
Yeah. And do you have your favorite places in Minsk?
so my favorite places. Would be downtown. Yeah, like Amiga, Plощадь Перемоги, Академия наук. What else? I spend a lot of my time at coffee shops and restaurants. So,
What's your favorite? It's interesting.
Favorite,
Like the favorite coffee shop.
Well, one of my top favorite ones are Manufactura, Utopia 60. It's near Autobuskaya.
Oh yeah.
And Wake Up.
Wake Up Coffee.
Wake Up Coffee. Yeah. You know it?
Yeah.
And then there's another. Yeah. And then there's another one. What is it called? Oh, there's one. It's over Moskovskaya called Faces Coffee. It's really good. And what is it called? It's like Cafe 26 or something like that. It's over by Galileo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just learned about this new, and there's a few bars that I like too here, that like Cherdak, Pushkin, what else?
Zybitskaya Street.
Yeah, and Cherdak, Pushkin, Malt and Hops is pretty decent. Malt and Hops. And where else? Craft House. Craft House is great. Really nice. Beer